Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Reginal Drummer, the peopleologist, coming to you live on this Sunday, this first Sunday in April. Just want to say hey to everybody, hi to everybody. I want you to take a deep breath this evening as we get ready for tonight's podcast, and like, share, and tag and spread the news over here at Square Mile Media Atlanta. We are a contributing factor. And, we come here every week sharing some things with you that are pertinent for our survival. And a lot of things we do focus on making sure that you're ready at all times, praying, fasting, meditating, coming up with strategies for you, your family, and your loved ones, so that no matter what, whether it's a pandemic, or pandemonium, you are in position to be at your highest point of survival. Now, we put a lot of emphasis on surviving. There are strategies that you can do, whether it's a man-made disaster or a just something that challenges you and your family. But tonight, we have the American flag behind us. And when you think about America, however you look at America, America is considered a land of opportunity. And many times people say to themselves, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to make it. When you look at people coming from different countries and they say, I'm coming over here to get a piece of the American dream, a piece of the American pie, that type thing. Well, there's a lot of things that you can do in America. There's a lot of things you can have in America. But one of those foundational things is land, dirt. And this evening, we'll be talking about a little dirt, a little land. But I want to share this with you real quick. Over the next 100 days, we're still focusing on a couple of key things. One, make sure that you spend at least, over the next 100 days, spend at least 10 minutes a day with yourself, me, myself, and I. Number two, make sure that you drink at least 16 ounces of water every day. You'll be surprised how that's going to help your health and your thinking ability. And number three, walk, crawl, hop, or run a mile a day. And then number four, focus on saving at least $1 per day over the next 100 days. And you've been doing this with us over the last 100 days. You should have $100. If you real good, you can save $10 a day. If you really good, you can save $100 a day as a group or as an individual. And also contact your family members. Contact your family members. Talk to your family members. Come together. Figure out some things, some strategies that you can do as a family to help yourself, your family, and your community. But tonight, we'll be talking about land. We'll be talking about investing in your community. So I hope that you share, tag, like, and spread the news. Any family can have a piece of the American dream. So tonight I'm joined with the Davis family. Mr. Marty Davis, are you out there this evening, my brother, you and your family? You might have to open that mic up. Yes, sir.
Can you hear us?
Yes. that's Brother Aaron. Yeah. Yes, that's okay. Y'all looking like the dad, man. I see money and inheritance. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great. I hope you caught a little out monologue. And I know you, your mom, and your dad are involved in real estate, or what we call dirt, getting some dirt. And I don't know which one of you would be the first to introduce yourselves. Well, let me do this first. When I met Marty Davis, he's just a regular guy. And he would get to talk, and I would say, man, this brother's got a little something different that he's doing that other people are not doing. He, no matter what the pressure was on the job, he always was in a mindset of a positive mindset, and he always maintained some degree of stability. and he always shared some wisdom and a lot of great knowledge. So I'm like, what is this brother doing? Why is this brother so content when everybody worried about the job, when everybody's worried about the status and doing a pandemic or pandemonium, and he was able to share some things with me about property. I said, what? He said, yeah, you know, I got some properties and I'm invested in that. I'm gonna bring my family in and things of that nature. And that's how we started the conversation. I said, Marty, you know what? You got to come on my show one day. You got to share some stuff with us. So tonight we're bringing the whole family in. So either one of you can give us an idea what the Davis family is doing and what motivated you to do what you're doing.
Hi, drummer. This is Danielle Davis. I'm having trouble with the video. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. So we just recently started Davis and Davis Real Estate. I'm the broker of Davis and Davis Real Estate. Between us, Aaron and Marty and myself, we have several rental properties here in the Atlanta area. And we're just looking forward to, you know, just giving as many people as we can the knowledge, you know, and wisdom it takes to own a piece of dirt, like you said. That is the American dream, and ownership is key. As you can see, you know, in this economy today, you know, the rent prices are going up, you know, it's almost unaffordable, you know, and it's getting to the point where even owning is difficult. So we're just happy to be on the other side of it and want to try to, you know, expand and give as much knowledge as we can to everyone, you know, and let them know that it is possible for all of us.
Wow. So owning dirt or real estate or property is a family thing.
It is. It is for us. I'm grateful that we all are on the same page with that, and you know, agree that you know we can never have enough. We want to be able to reach as many people as we can. Obviously, there's still a ton of things out there that we don't know about, and we can continue to learn every day. But what we've learned so far is working for us. We're learning each project that we pick up or new project we learn, you know, as we go through it. And we're looking forward to just sharing that with everyone and let them know, like, you can have this too. I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, it may not be your dream home. We don't live in our dream home. You know, it's just, you know, getting to that starting point. That's the key, at least starting out and owning whatever that may look like for you.
Wow. And Aaron, as a young brother, I don't know your age or how old you are, but you're starting early. What got? I know you got mom, dad in there, but what kind of motivated you as a young person, especially a young brother, African American descent, and you're saying to yourself, with the job market like it is and things of that nature, what kind of got you into looking at real estate as a career or a family choice?
Well, when I first graduated college and I got my first corporate job, you know, after the first 3 months or so of finally being able to make some money and just provide a living for myself, I realized that, you know, this wasn't sustainable as far as the routine of doing the same thing every day and not really having control of my job, you know, especially during the pandemic. You know, a lot of companies shut down. A lot of people was left unemployed. So I immediately knew that I didn't have any control over that. So what got me into real estate was knowing that I can have a backup plan and I can still work with having rental properties that can provide income for myself. In the event that I was to lose my job, I would have that to fall back on. So that's what originally got me into real estate. But when I came down to Georgia, I saw that there was a market that was kind of untapped as far as a lot of minorities owning homes. I didn't see a lot of us buying homes and buying properties, and I didn't see a lot of real estate agents, you know, tapping into that market. So I knew that I had an opportunity to learn and get my license to become a real estate agent, and I can help a lot of people, especially minorities, who don't have those opportunities to buy a home, who may not think that they have the opportunity to buy a home. Some people think that they need 20% down. They think they need a 750 credit score. And then I just try to provide that information and let them know that they don't need that. And just try to help as many people as I can to get into a home. So that's what got me into real estate. And me and my mom, we joined forces and we started up a brokerage firm. She's the broker. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to just guide people throughout the transaction of buying or selling a home. Throughout the entire process, it can be very frustrating and difficult. But my mom and myself, we're very calm and we're patient. And you need agents like that to get you through the transaction and to get you to the closing table. So those are the services that we provide at Davis & Davis Real Estate. And I think that's what separates us from a lot of other brokerages. We try to focus on the people and not so much of the transaction and just closing. We want to make sure that you have a good experience with us and to make sure that you can actually get into a home that you love.
Wow. That's incredible. That's awesome. I don't know if your dad gonna join us in there.
I'm here.
But,
I'm here. I'm just letting them do what they do. Yeah.
Man, it's good to meet the family
and
the work that you all are doing, and that creates a bond in the family, and it creates some build legacy and also generational wealth. And I know a lot of times, we talk like I said earlier, very positive brother, and it was like everybody else. I've seen salesmen. All types of folk look like they were just catching hell and they didn't know what to do. And Marty was just like steady, And I'm like, man, what is this brother doing, man? Because when whether you're self-employed or whether you work in a job or you are behind in your money, and you had setbacks in life, many people that I've found that participated and really, people say, well, get some stock, buy some Bitcoin. But Marty would say it's a lot easier to buy some dirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, okay. And however you get some dirt, hold on to it or whatever you can do with it. But and I noticed you said something, we think sometimes we got to have 20% of the money up front. We got to have a 750 credit score. We have to have a job, but that's paying a lot of money, and a lot of people talk themselves out of becoming homeowners. But maybe either one of you can put it in there. What are some first steps to take when you're thinking about just getting a piece of property? Because there's a lot of property available, but what's like a first step?
I would say the first step for a buyer to buy a home would probably be speak with the lender, find a lender that you have a good relationship with or that you trust, and just see if you can qualify for a home right now, and see what you can get approved for. That gives you an idea of the price range of homes you can look in. And then even if you can't get approved right now, a good lender, they'll give you a plan on how to get everything ready for you to buy a home, such as credit repair or making sure that you have your tax returns in place, or just providing you different options for loan products. A good lender, they'll guide you through that process and make sure that you're on the right path. And then even if, you're not ready, it's always possible to get ready. And it's never really like an end all be all if you're not ready at that moment. So yeah, the first step would definitely be to contact the lender to see where you're at.
Okay. And I know like you said, some people look at a home and they think about that being their last home or their dream home, or that's it. But once you get a house or a home and you say to yourself, how can I get into either, I know people do Airbnbs and all that type of stuff, but how can I get into where I can start making my home, or whether it be renting that home out or selling that home, but using that home as leverage, to boost my, my financial footprint. But how can a home be a moneymaker?
Well, there's a couple ways of doing that. Obviously, you want to be in a position where you're getting your mortgage paid for. So you can, what they call today, house hacking. You can have, 2, 3 bedrooms, rent out a bedroom. That's very popular here in the Atlanta area.
Wow.
Where you're renting out bedrooms, whether it's people you don't know or family. I feel like we need to do a lot more of that as far as multiple generations in one home. It allows us to afford, nicer homes, or just start that journey on building wealth. The Airbnb route, that's another alternative. But like I said, most popular is multifamily, where you have a duplex, you live in one side and someone else lives in another, and you're getting the mortgage paid for. You see the rent prices out here. So most likely, if you're house hacking, you will have your mortgage taken care of. So there's multiple ways of doing that. There's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever fits your situation at that time.
I like that term, house hacking. Because, I think that's the thing about the younger generation. You all are thinking of things a little bit differently, and therefore you're creating opportunities where a lot of us didn't see opportunities. When you say that you can rent a room out, and matter of fact, believe it or not, I've rented a room. I paid somebody to rent a room, and I never thought about it. Man, I can rent a room out myself.
Yes,
I mean, bam. I mean,
yes, sir.
And when you think of things, because a lot of other people, you might see the outside of their home, and you might not realize what they are doing, and not to put it out there like that, but I've passed by homes and I've seen like 12 cars.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And everybody, and I'm thinking, man, that, and then over the years, I've seen those cars become minimum, meaning that evidently they saved enough money collectively to go out and do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So it wasn't like a situation that was going to be forever. And I think sometimes we think situations, think either we coming through something, going through something, about to go through something.
Right.
So, when you can see, I like that house hacking, where you can come up with creative ways of either getting a house. And I know, Marty, you shared me one time, you shared with me, you said, man, you can get 5 or 6 folk to buy one house.
Yep. You don't have to be, 5 people can be on a loan.
Yeah.
Yep. So it doesn't have to be related. But if you got people that down and they serious and they trying to move ahead, you got to put your money together and level up that way. That's it. You got to think of creative ways to move out. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm reading one of the comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you call it house hacking, but that's what our grandmamas and all them did. In the South, you look up, you didn't know who was paying the rent, but the rent got paid. You didn't know who was paying the insurance, but Big Mama always had a lot of folk in the house.
That's it.
And the house note got paid, and that generation of people had homes.
Yep, exactly. Yes, sir. That's it. That's how you.
And
do
there's
it.
definitely a need for it today. I mean, the pricing and the cost of homes today are just on the rise, and I don't personally see them coming down. So it's going to be difficult. So you may need to partner up with family or friends, and just to get the ball rolling. So you can be in a position where you can work and save money. To be able to, like you said, start on your own.
Wow.
And another thing that we have to do, especially like if you're trying to just buy your first home, is we gotta like give up our comfort a bit in order to get to that goal. In terms of like house hacking, you can house hack and you don't even have to own a home. So if you're renting a home, a 3-4 bedroom home, you can still rent out those bedrooms and you can have them pay for your rent, and you can save up your down payment, and they can save up as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. Now you might be giving up the comfort of your home, but if you're looking at the long-term goal of eventually saving up enough money for a down payment, that's just a short-term thing that you got to deal with as far as renting out your rooms and maybe not having all the privacy that you want. But it's definitely necessary just to get a home if that's what it takes for you. So that's another way that you can do it. So even if you're renting right now, you have even like a 2-3 bedroom apartment and you're not using all the bedrooms, you can still rent out those bedrooms and help somebody pay for your lease. So that's another form of house hacking as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the big key, like you said, was giving up your comfort. I like to say it's more a sacrifice on your spending habits. Like we just need to be more dedicated to home ownership. I mean, if you're really serious about it and it's something that you want, it's going to require some sacrifice. It's going to require some hard work. You know, you may not be able to go out as much or travel as much. You that money will now be going to savings, so you can save up for a down payment, but it's temporary, you know. So it's the time frame is different for everyone, but just make that commitment up front and saying this is what I want, and just make it happen one day at a time.
Wow. Delayed gratification.
Absolutely.
You know, I think and I just have to use Black and brown people. A long time ago, we could come together and do delayed gratification. You know, you get it. You know, if you was a peanut farmer down in South Georgia, you got tired of the heat, and your cousin told you to come up to Detroit, that he was hiring for the Ford Motor Company. You already knew you had somewhere to stay, and you would make that sacrifice to come and stay, and then you could come up because you're making good money. And before you know it, you got a home, a car, whatever. But it takes, and it's not new, but I think the economy is forcing folk to see this. So sometimes I look at people, they say, man, how do these folk get these businesses? How do these folk do this? How they do that? Well, these folk are making sacrifices. They're not doing and buying all the crazy stuff we are buying, because a lot of money that we have a lot of disposable income. Just as as a people, we spend a lot of money on things that are not income producers, and therefore, if our jobs tells us that you got to do these things, hop over these hoops, we got to do them. And we get stressed out. So home ownership is leveraging, and home hacking is a incredible tool, because you can do so many things. I wanted to say this, and I talked to Marty about it, but in cases where sometimes a family member passes away and you get gifted a home, and I know sometimes we look at that home, we say, man, that home is jacked up. It's going to take this, and I don't want to be bothered with it. So we just almost give it away and still not see the benefits. But in cases where an auntie or mama or somebody leaves somebody a home, is there some home hack that they can do to get some money out of that property other than paying the taxes?
To be quite honest, I'm always say keep it. Unless there's a reason, you know, I get, you know, there's, you know, you may be in some debt, or, you know, there's things that you may have to pay. But today you have investors paying crazy money for those type of properties alone. So if you're in a position to hold on to it, just seek the knowledge. I mean, I understand the first thing, you know, falls on your mind would be to sell it. But try to do a little bit of homework first, you know, to see what your options are, because it doesn't always have to mean selling it. You can slowly get the repairs done, or there may be programs out there that can help you do that as well. But you definitely want to try to at least seek the knowledge and find out what your options are before just immediately selling the home, because that's an asset, like you said, and it's already paid for. So if you think future, you have a home that's paid for, you never have to worry about a mortgage or a rent payment again once you get to that position. But it will take some time, obviously. But I think a lot of it is just a lack of knowledge up front, you know, not knowing what to do or knowing what your options are.
Are there some, you know, I know I always tell people go to Google, but are there some good websites or information sites that people can look at that when it comes down to that type of thing?
Everything is good. That's how we learn. I mean, your podcast like you have now, there's no excuse anymore. If you have a phone and have access to the internet, it's out there. You just have to want to seek the knowledge, but it's out there. Obviously, you may not know what to search for, but it's just as simple as I have a home for sale. I mean, there's a ton of things that's going to come up, but you have to want to be able to look out there and see what your options are. But any particular websites? None that I can think of. Aaron, do you know of any?
No specific websites, but I would just recommend just Google what can I do with the home to make money. Like a simple Google search will take you a long way. Like you'll end up down a rabbit hole going through Google. So either Google or YouTube, how to fix a home, how to rent a home, whatever the case may be. But if somebody gives you a home and it's paid off and it's clear, and all you have to worry about is the taxes, like you got to figure out a way like how to bring that home up and either rent it out or move into it. But the last thing I would recommend is giving it up, unless it's really just like not a good home at all. But I would find a way to like generate income with that home. And there's plenty of podcasts and
Bigger Pockets
videos out there. So
Bigger Pockets is a good one.
Bigger Pockets
a lot too.
Okay.
It's just about real estate and just investors and people telling their stories and different things they've done to get properties and things like that. There's no one way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got their way they got in. It's just a matter of wanting to. And once you understand ownership and equity, you'll figure this thing out. That's the key. That's the problem with the Black community. We don't understand ownership or equity. That's what we have to do. That puts us in a power position. If we renting, I don't have a say-so on how this thing goes. But as long as I own, I got a choice. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we got to learn. Those are the two things, ownership and equity. You understand that changes everything for you. Everything. You're going to look at every problem, every situation different. It won't be a hassle. It'll be because you realize what you got. You realize I got the golden goose. I just got to learn how to massage it. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to.
I like that, the golden goose.
Yeah, that's what this stuff is, man. Dirt is golden. It's golden.
Well, hey, I got to ask each of you this. What was that light bulb moment that motivated you to get in real estate?
I'll let you do that one.
I don't know what my moment was. I always knew I liked houses and that type of thing. You know, they seem they big and pretty, whatever, you know, that type of thing. I always knew it. And then as I learned more, I really realized, you know, wow, this is really the key to getting it, to family wealth, legacy. Like all of our LLCs are named after Davis legacy, equity properties, those type of things. It's about longevity for the family. I can see down the road with that. You know what I mean? So it's that type of thing. I just always felt it and liked real estate for some reason. I was drawn to it.
And before I moved to Georgia, I was already like kind of like researching ways to like have a passive income. And then I came across real estate, and then I just started reading books. And then when I finally moved down here, Marty already like planted a seed in my head that it was possible that I could get in real estate. So I was kind of having second doubts about doing it because I just thought it was just like so far out of reach for me. But then once he planted that seed and then made it more possible for me to like just realize that I can do it. Now that's really all that I need. You really just need one person to like really spark that plug under you. So that was my light bulb moment, like just being curious about it. And then just doing a little bit of research, reading books, and then finding out more about it, and then having somebody that was already in it kind of like push you a little bit.
Wow. Okay. And Marty or Danielle, y'all got a entry point for real estate. What was your light bulb moment?
My light bulb moment, I think it was more so because I've owned a home even before I moved to Georgia. But I think it was more so just some kind of way tapping into the podcast. So once I started hearing podcasts and listening to people tell their stories on how they became, you know, landlords and owning their own land, I just hungered for that every day. So I listened to all types of podcasts. And then of course having Marty by my side, like it was a no-brainer. And then when I first moved to Georgia, I was renting, and the rent goes up every year. So it's like, and the rent that you're paying, especially if you want to stay in a decent area, is insane. It really is. So just thinking about that and just knowing, like, at some point in time, either you're going to have a well-paying job to keep up with the rental market, or multiple. So, what is the alternative to that? Well, owning. I'm in the driver's seat. So I get to say my mortgage payment doesn't change unless I do something, drastic. But for the most part, my mortgage is going to stay the same. I don't have to worry about it going up. And this is my home. I have to say so. So I think it was just listening to other people's stories. And I think once we started this social media thing, it just became more apparent. Like it's more well known now for us. And the knowledge is just like everywhere you look. It's on television now. So it's everywhere. So I don't know how you can miss it. Now it's just getting the knowledge and knowing what to do with it. How is it possible for me? Because you can't say you didn't know. Like, it's all over the news as far as the rent spikes and the home ownership, the cost of home ownership, and people struggling. So I have a soft spot for that alone, just seeing that, and not just the elderly people, but people being kicked out of their apartments. They can't afford them. Rent's doubling. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. But what do you do? We can't control that. We can cry about it, but when we get finished crying in the morning, we still going to have to deal with it. So the alternative to that is figuring it out. What can you do?
Wow.
Yeah.
And you made me think, I've been looking at different people. It's so many things that you can do. And I use you guys' term, house hacking. I've seen couples that were in their grayer years, 70 years old, and they actually made a choice to let their house, not get rid of the house, but rent their house out and Airbnb it or whatever. And they bought a like a Winnebago, and they drive around the country, and it's financed by the people that's renting their house.
Oh yeah,
there's another way. So there's multiple ways of doing it.
But the thing is, though, they can do that because guess why? They own. You know what I'm saying? If I don't leave nothing else with you, I want you to understand how important ownership is. That's the key to all of this. We got to own it to be able to make those decisions.
I like that. I got a question coming out of the audience. What's the difference between a real estate agent and a broker?
We own it. Ownership.
Okay.
Yeah, we own it.
A brokerage, you pretty much, in order to be a real estate agent and actively sell homes or help people find homes, you have to be listed under a broker. Or as an agent, you are an independent contractor. However, you're not allowed to practice without being licensed under a broker, active broker. So a brokerage, like a Berkshire Hathaway, a Keller Williams,
Davis
those are
Davis.
brokerages.
We own it. I don't want them to miss that. We own this. This is not an accident. This is ownership. Yes, all the way through. Whoa. We are the end game. That's what you want. Ownership.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
You said bigger.
Bigger Pockets podcast.
Yeah. Bigger
What's
Pockets
that?
Podcast.
Yeah, a Bigger Pockets. Yeah.
Bigger Pockets. And another good podcast is Earn Your Leisure. Not only do they talk about stocks, they talk about ownership, but they also have different guest speakers on there to just cater to our community and help us understand the different options that we have out there. Like you were mentioning before, the stocks, the crypto, there's a ton of different ways to invest. But they're really big on ownership as well. I mean, they do a very good job of teaching and educating us. And it's in a way that we can understand, so Earn Your Leisure is a very, very popular podcast. And for real estate in particular, Recently, I think they've only been going for a few months, but Rants and Gems, RANTSGEMS, is another big one. There's a lender on there, a mortgage broker on there, and then also a female real estate broker here in Atlanta that does that podcast. But it's a really good podcast to learn from as well.
Wow. We're getting a lot of stuff in the chat, and I encourage people to like and share. We're going to keep pushing this out because, and I see around the country, different areas, sometimes people say, well, man, they getting everything. They buying up this, they. But as a family, you all have taken the initiative to participate in the American dream.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now, and I know we talk about it a lot, Marty, when people can come over, and not to get way out there, but there are going to be some people, they say 100,000 folk are coming from the Ukraine over the next year.
Right.
They're going to get some dirt.
Yeah.
However they get it, they're going to get some dirt. Now, we already here. Now, I know people say when they give them all this money, that means they got some money to buy some dirt. Hint, clue. You look, because it made me think. I said, man, you know what? I need to reach out to some Ukrainians because they coming with some money. Yeah. You got to look at the people that's bringing some money. I know a lot of times in the South, because people coming from, say, California or the northern states, Chicago, Detroit, New York, somebody in the South would be like, man, rent, it's high. It's $1,500. They said, that's all.
Right.
Yeah. That's
like, whoa, man, that's all.
Yeah.
And we, people are crying because they don't realize that other people are paying almost 3 times that amount for rent. Yeah. And then they bring in the money. A lot of people are coming to Atlanta. Marty's kind of motivated me to look at property in Atlanta. He said, man, you drive by stuff every day. That dirt. I'm looking at dirt at a different level.
That's it. That's how I want us to look at it. That's exactly how you're supposed to look at it, just like that. Yeah. It's for everybody. Don't let these people tell you can't. Listen, you'd be surprised what $5,000 can get you. Just if we had made moves 6 months ago, you looking for property, you'd be surprised the buying power that just $5,000 putting down on the house, $10,000. It's no money, and it gives you an asset that's worth $200,000, $300,000. You know what I'm saying? Wow. It's crazy. Got to look at it that way. Ownership is the key.
I like that word, ownership. And you know what? Now I share this. We had done a podcast about COVID, and during COVID, we were sharing with people if they got their the stimulus checks or anything like that. Well, there was a family that because of COVID, prior to COVID, each of the family members were paying rent. I think the husband and wife was paying about $1,500 a month. The son and the daughter were paying about $800-900. They were sharing a space with some other people, but that money was going outside the family. Yeah. And their mother was paying about $900 at a senior citizen facility. Wow. So they were spending about $3-4 grand a month.
Yeah.
But when COVID happened, they moved in together. So all that money started making ends meet. Yeah. So even during COVID, they were able to save so much money, and they ended up buying a home way out there in Atworth.
Yeah,
and because they were able to save that money, and I got to get them over here because he said, well, we can grow our own food because we talk about being ready, and we can grow our own food. We can do what we want to do because we have a choice now. So home ownership. I'm trying to read this other little quote here. Person has cash. I've seen commercials saying that buyers need to have cash purchases. Have you seen any changes in real estate in the real estate market since COVID? And I was just sharing that with the family. But people are doing all kind of things, and it's like COVID did a major reset because we got time to sit at home and say, you know what, man, what am I doing? But just say here in Atlanta, do you all see and Atlanta's booming? When I look at what they call affordable housing, because we're out in Alpharetta, and I was when Marty was telling me how much you can get for rent out there, I'm like, man, goodness, oh Lord, people in trouble, because and it's not personal.
Nah.
Yeah.
But if I had a piece of property, and I can only get about 800 for it or 1,200, and somebody's saying, I just like how close it is to Atlanta, so I'm willing to put about $3,000 on it.
Yes, sir.
I hate to put you out, but I might just get the $3,000 and put you in the $800 place. So a lot of stuff now, house hacking, and we looking at stuff a lot more different instead of giving ourselves the pity party.
Yeah.
And saying they doing this, and I know we talk about that a lot, Marty, where they doing this. Well, okay, they gonna still do what they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you all have said, you know what, this is what we gonna do.
Exactly. Yep. Plain and simple. Come up with a game plan, work together.
Especially now since COVID, a lot of lenders, or pretty much every single lender lowered their interest rate to about 3% and a little bit under that. So that was another incentive for a lot of people to start buying homes, specifically in Atlanta. So I saw the question about the cash purchases, like if you needed cash. You don't necessarily need cash, but because of Atlanta is such a hot spot right now, you have a lot of companies and large corporations that's buying up a lot of the properties here. And these companies, they're backed by hedge funds, and they can pay cash for these homes, and they pay over the asking price for these homes. And these aren't just like your typical like investment looking properties. These are like regular homes that, typical home buyers are buying. So when you go to buy a home that's $400,000, you're not only competing with every other home buyer, you're competing with large corporations like a Zillow, who just has billions of dollars to play with, and they're paying cash for their homes. So if you're a seller and you get an offer that's backed by a loan, or you get an offer that's backed by cash and they can close next week over asking price, as a seller, you're going to accept that cash offer. So that's what's happening in the Atlanta market. But no, you don't need cash. You just need a really good agent who can negotiate for you and who can write up a strong offer for you to have a chance to get these cash offers. So that's pretty much the situation that's going on in Atlanta. And nobody knows how long it's going to last. Nobody knows what's going to happen to the real estate market. But as of right now, it's just very competitive, and we don't know if it's going to stop. So if you have an opportunity to buy a home, now is the best time to buy a home, because we don't know, will these homes still be at this price? Based off of 2 years ago, a home that was once $300,000, that same home is probably $450,000 now. So that just gives you a guideline of how quickly the values are appreciating in Atlanta. So if you can buy a home, or if you're thinking about buying a home, like, make a plan and start on it right now, because it is serious to own a home, because a lot of these companies, they're buying up properties, they're making it unaffordable, which Atlanta has technically been termed unaffordable. It's making it unaffordable for a lot of people to buy homes. So you don't want to keep pushing yourself out of that market. So just get started now.
And I've seen we look at the Atlanta market. I look at areas around Atlanta, the 14 county metropolitan area. But even outside of Atlanta, there's a whole nother Georgia.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
If you say, well, you know what, I'm gonna find somebody in way back Georgia, and I might be able to go down, because I know some people flip houses, buy houses, and rehab houses, and they say, well, I'm gonna go down here way back Georgia, because down in way back Georgia, they still need one thing: they need somewhere to live. And if you can have property down there, it could even finance how you live in Atlanta. You can live Big Willie style, because you got some property that hadn't accelerated in value, but it's valuable.
Dirt is valuable.
Ooh, yes. I saw somebody Southwest Atlanta, where houses were less than 100,000 in 2008 are selling $250,000. But like you say, Atlanta is on a boom, or upswing, and you kind of can get in where you fit in. And I know you guys have formed some type of LLCs, corporations, and things of that nature. But even outside of doing that, people can do it on their own. But what are the advantage of, rather than say, because I know sometimes people talk themselves out of making money. And I'll say that again. They talk themselves out of making money. So, I don't want to do that. Too much headache, and you put yourself in a stressed out position because you hadn't found a hack, and evidently over here at Davis Realty, you all have found a hack because you say, you know what, not only are we just going to get into buying a house and be like a regular individual, but we're going to also make ourselves agents and form a brokerage and things of that nature. But how is it difficult to put an LLC together where you can do those type things, or what's the process?
No, not at all. Most of our LLCs we actually did ourselves. I mean, that's another. You just get online. It's not hard to create an LLC at all for any business, not just the brokerage. It's not hard to create an LLC. Couple $100, if that, annual registration fees. But other than that, it's not hard to create a LLC at all. It's just maybe if you're not familiar with it or never done it before, you can have an attorney do it for a couple $100 for you. And we've actually had an attorney do one of ours, but it's not anything. You'd want to make sure everything's in place properly. But it's not difficult at all. It's just another way, especially for rental properties, to have it under an LLC for liability purposes, because you're not living in that home. So that's just another layer of protection, mainly.
Okay. And when you say things in order, what do you mean? Just if you don't have to get specific, but what are some things you have to have in order if you want to?
Obviously, if you're starting any business, the main thing is you want to operate it as such. You want to have a business account, bank business account. And the first thing you'll need in place is that, and then also your LLC. Your LLC, you want to know who are the members of that LLC, who can make the decisions, whether it be just one person, one individual, or partners. Those are type of things that you want to have documented in that LLC that you're creating. And again, that's something that the attorneys can go over and make sure it's all in place for you. But once it's in place, which is in a matter of 30 minutes, an hour, it doesn't take any time to do. You just want to make sure you start operating your business that way.
Oh, okay. I had another question. When you look at rental property, a lot of people don't like renters, right? Renters. Is it best to have a property manager, or should you do it yourself?
Personal preference. It's funny because Aaron, I think they manage some of their own. We personally have a property manager. So I don't think it's a right or wrong way to do it. For us, I think it's a little bit easier. We don't have to worry about it. Our property manager, if something goes wrong, they'll call them. We can be involved, and we have been in the past if we want to choose who we want to do our repairs, things like that. If we have a list of contractors or handymen on, hand that we typically work with, we do have a say so in that. If not, the property management company has their own as well. Any issues that they have, they'll run by us first, let us know, okay, there's a pipe leaking or something, whatever the case may be. They'll let us know that the issue is there. We get to make that decision on whether or not they repair it or we repair it. Personally, I just think it's easier. They pay them, all the funds go through them. They make the payments through their website, and then deposit the funds in our checking account at the end of the month or the beginning of the month. So it's just a lot less stress, especially if we have, which we plan to do, try to get as many properties as we can. It's just less hassle. One less thing that we have to worry about, because we do still have the option of managing them if we want to. and we still can drive by them. We can request, however many inspections we want throughout the year.
Okay.
So it's just a personal preference, I think. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. Aaron, like I said, they have managed some of their own.
Yeah, we manage our own properties mainly because we plan on having our own property management company as well.
Ownership.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll see that theme run through here. That's ownership.
I love that.
Yeah. So we were already in the mindset of like getting everything in place and putting together a system to manage our properties to make it easier for us. So for example, like if one of the residents for the homes have something go wrong with the home, they just go to an online portal and submit a maintenance request. So we don't get calls at 9 o'clock at night for something going wrong. They can go to their portal and we'll see it that next day. And then if it's an emergency, then they'll obviously call 911, or if it's a water emergency, call a plumber. But for the most part, we just manage it ourselves, and we have the systems in place to make it easier for us. So we're pretty hands off. If we need to get something done to property, we have contractors in place that we send to the property. But in the event that we wasn't planning on having our own property management company, we would definitely go with the property manager, because they just make it way easier for you. And although they do charge you, they just make it a little bit more seamless for you. So it's not as much of a hassle to manage some of your properties.
Wow. And I like that theme within the family ownership. From the property, y'all doing it from the rooter to the tutor. Okay.
Back to the
I like that. Because that creates opportunities for all family members. People looking at jobs. Right. And we say jobs over here is just over broke. And people get frustrated. They get miserable, and when you can put something like this together, ownership being taught into the mind, you say we can own all aspects of this. So I love that when you say we can be the agent, we can be the broker, we can be the doggone management, we can be the contractors. All this stuff is back to ownership, creating for self. And I'm a big proprietor on creating for self, not looking at somebody else to come in there. And this is a question coming out too. Are there some common areas? Because people say, man, I tried to buy a house. They hard as I don't know what. You can't buy no house. They won't let you get a house. But are there some common errors that people do that get them disqualified when it comes down to buying a house? Just one house.
Yeah.
Just one.
I would say the common area that I've seen from a lot of buyers is them not really having realistic expectations of what kind of home that they can afford. So a lot of buyers, they get approved for a loan and they already have in their mind the type of home that they want. And sometimes it's very unrealistic based on what's on the market in that price point. So you might want a 5,000 square foot home, 3-car garage on a full acre in Smyrna, Georgia, under $300,000. And they're going to keep searching until they find that home, but they're never going to find that home. And if they do find that home, it's going to sell for $500,000. So I think that the common error that a lot of buyers make is just not willing to compromise on what they absolutely need in the home versus what they want in the home. And it's okay to compromise right now, because like my mom was saying earlier, you can have your forever home later down the line, but the goal is to just get into a home and build up some equity into that home. That way, when you're ready for your forever home, you can either sell that home or you can do a cash out refi and use that as a down payment for your forever home. Just knowing what you can realistically afford and not being so firm on certain things that you need in the home.
Wow.
And to add to that, just up front, which your lender will go over this with you. If you have a job like your 9 to 5, you will need your W-2s, a couple years of W-2s. If you're independent contractor, then they typically want 2 years tax returns. So just steady income. You want to make sure your income is steady. If you're getting close to closing on a home, you found a home, you don't want to make any major purchases or anything that's going to damage your credit, because they will definitely see that. And that's a game changer. But just upfront, just being very disciplined and staying focused on the task, which is getting to the closing table and getting your keys. Don't do anything drastic. Just continue, your normal spending like you would, for whatever it is in the home, bills and things like that, till you get to the closing table. Like we say things like, it's even purchasing furniture can be, depending on the amount. You don't want to charge certain things on your credit card that's going to keep you from closing. And then always save enough for your down payment, because you never want to get to the closing table and say, oh, you need $1,000, you don't have it. But again, you will have an idea of what you need to close up front as long as you have a good lender. But just stay focused on the task at hand and just, don't do anything drastic to jeopardize that home.
And that's a wealth of information. I know we can't get it all in one time frame, but it made me look at some things because and I was sharing with Marty the other day. This guy was 70 years old, just bought his first house.
Wow, yeah.
And he was excited. Now some people say at 70, hey man, you ain't even get a chance to enjoy it. But he really felt good, that part of home ownership. And so it's nothing like owning something, and nobody can tell you got to leave. There's some rules, there's some regulations, taxes, and things of that nature. But a lot of times people get frustrated with just the mechanics, And then we've been taught that that's a way of saying nobody wants us to participate. But we're here in America. And that's part of the American dream. I look back at this flag. Yes. Everybody's saying, man, kudos to the whole family. But I want as we get ready to close out, I want you all to share just some golden nuggets that our audience can look forward to when it comes down to purchasing some dirt.
I would say the main thing, and Marty even talked about it the whole call, is just ownership and being able to control your own home. Nobody can tell you what you can do with your home, when you have to leave, if the rent is going to increase. Just being able to control everything that's involved in your home. And then another side of it is generational wealth. Those are two words that's been going around a lot in the last couple of years, generational wealth, and just taking that very serious. A lot of other ethnicities, they've put together the blueprint to create generational wealth in America for the last couple of 100 years. So now that we have the blueprint, we have the information, Black and brown people, we need to take that and we need to take it very serious, or else we're going to continue to stay last in wealth, and we're going to be first in spending. So we need to take it very serious when it comes to buying homes, take it serious when it comes to saving, investing, because nobody's going to give us any handouts. Nobody's going to give us anything, and nobody have given us anything. So we have the information, and if you have a cell phone with internet, you can do anything on that. You can learn anything. So that would be my thing to leave with everybody. It's just ownership, and just create generational wealth for you and your family.
Wow. Danielle,
ownership is key. I understand for a lot of families right now, or even individuals, it's hard. It's a tough market right now. Just save. If you can't find family members to get on board with you, like you said, to have you all under one roof where you can afford it, just save for yourself and continue to seek out the knowledge that you need to become a homeowner. It's going to be tough, but the alternative is to continue to rent. It's going to continue to go up. That we do know. We have no control over that. We can complain. We can write to whoever we're going to write to, but I doubt if they're going to say, okay, well, she doesn't like the rent going up, so let's bring that back down so she can afford it. I don't think that's going to happen. So just try to continue to be patient, and just set your mind on ownership. again, that's key. They can't tell you what to do. They can't tell you when to leave. Your your mortgage is a decent amount where you can afford, which 9 times out of 10 is less than what you're paying in rent. So just continue to be patient and get around people that are like-minded and people that are willing to jump on board and support what it is you're trying to do.
That's it.
Thank you, Marty.
Yeah.
And also, y'all share any contact information that you have that you want to put out that people might be able to we're going to bring you back. You know that. Any contact information, okay?
Yeah.
Well, you first can reach us on the main point of contact is our website, and that's davisanddavisre.com. So Davis, and you spell out the A-N-D, Davis and Davis RE for real estate.com. And all of our contact information is on there. And just feel free if you ever want to.
You can follow us on social media, Davis and Davis Real Estate. And then my personal social media is Aaron Davis Realty on Instagram and Facebook.
Wow. Well, it's been awesome to the whole Davis family. You know, I've got my pen out taking notes, and I've shared this with my family members because you guys have really enlightened me, and just having a personal conversation. I think I should be paying Marty every time I see him, just from the golden nuggets and you know, but all of you all, just the family and the whole embracing of ownership. So we love you and we appreciate you. And we're going to have you back. But for everybody else out there, we always say we have to be ready. And I know a lot of times we focus on the doom and the gloom. A lot of people hope the world will end. But people been hoping the world was going to end for a long time. And a lot of us are still here. And that puts us and our families at a disadvantage when we prepare for the worst. Well, dirt is still going to be available. Dirt will still be available, and we have to get some of that dirt. There will be people coming here to get in some of this American dream. Yeah. And part of this American dream ain't just apple pie. It's dirt, ownership. So with that being said, stay ready at all times. Find ways to put you and your family in a better position. Okay? In a better position. And I'd like to thank the Davis family, all the work you all be doing. You know, if I could be around another 100 years, I know that family legacy and that generational wealth is going to increase. And that inspired me and motivated me to want to get off my assets and, you know, put this thing to work. And so we love you. We appreciate you. We encourage everyone to like, share, and tag over here at Square Mile Media, Atlanta. We're bringing you a lot of great information, a lot of good things that can help you, your family, and your community get to the front of the line. Okay? Ain't nobody gonna just let you walk up to the front of the line. You're gonna have to take some initiative. Okay, it is what it is. Everybody's coming to get some of this dirt. When you gonna get yours? So this is Reginal Drummer, the peopleologist, and God bless America and the American dream. Have a great night.